Hi everyone, eLearningHub is signing on to provide you another insight. Our topic for today is all about high context culture versus low context culture. Globalization is something that all of us embrace. Because of this, it increases our social connectivity with other people around the globe, in which it involves cross-cultural communication. Cross-cultural communication has become strategically important to companies due to the growth of global business, technology, and internet. Understanding cross-cultural communication is important for any company with a diverse workforce or plans to undertake global business. This type of communication involves understanding how people from various cultures speak, interact, and perceive the world around them. Cross-cultural communication in an organization deals with understanding different business customs, beliefs, and communication strategies. Language differences, high context versus low context cultures, nonverbal differences, and power distance are major factors that can affect cross-cultural communication. High context culture versus low context culture. The concept of high and low context culture relates to how an employee's thoughts, opinions, feelings, and upbringing affect how they act within a given culture. North America and Western Europe, specifically Germany, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Canada, and United States, are generally considered to have low context cultures. This means that businesses in these places have direct individualistic employees who tend to base decisions on facts. This type of business person wants a specific noted in contracts and may have issues with trust. High context cultures are the opposite in that trust is the most important part of business dealings. There are areas in the Middle East, Asia, and Africa that can be considered high context. Organizations that have high context cultures are collectivist and focus on interpersonal relationships. Individuals from high context cultures might be interested in getting along with the person whom they are doing business to get a gut feeling on decision making. They may also be more concerned with the performance of corporate teams and group success rather than individual achievement. One thing to remember is that few cultures and the people in them are totally at one end of the spectrum or the other. They usually fall somewhere in between and may have a combination of high and low context characteristics. To better understand the distinction between high and low context cultures, let's discuss the types of behavior that are generally present in high and low context cultures within five categories. The first category is association, how people relate to each other. Second, interaction, how people communicate with each other. Third, territoriality, how people treat space. Fourth, temporality, how people treat time. And the last one, learning, how people learn. Let's have the first category, which is the association. There are four types of behavior which are generally present in high context culture and low context culture. In high context culture, relationships depend on trust. build up slowly and are stable. One distinguishes between people inside and people outside one's circle. While in low context culture, relationships begin and end quickly. Many people can be inside one circle. Circle's boundary is not clear. The second type of behavior in high context culture is how things get done depends on relationships with people and attention to group process. While in low context culture, things get done by following procedures and paying attention to the goal. Another type of behavior present in high context culture is one's identity is rooted in groups, while in low context culture, one's identity is rooted in oneself and one's accomplishments. And the last type of behavior in high context culture, social structure and authority are centralized. Responsibility is at the top. Person at top works for the good of the group. While in low context culture, social structure is decentralized. Responsibility goes further down or is not concentrated at the top. The second category is interaction. How communicate with each other. There are five types of behavior reflected in high context culture and low context culture. The first type of behavior in high context culture, high use of nonverbal elements. Voice tone, facial expression, gestures, and eye movement carry significant parts of conversation. While in low context culture, low use of nonverbal elements. Message is carried more by words than by nonverbal means. The second one is in high context culture, verbal message is implicit or it is not clearly stated. Context pertains to situation, people, and nonverbal elements is more important than words. While in low context culture, verbal message is explicit or it is clearly stated. Context is less important than words. The next type of behavior reflected in high context culture is verbal message is indirect. One talks around the point and embellishes or exaggerates it. While in low context culture, verbal message is direct. One spells things out exactly. The fourth one, in high context culture, communication is seen as an art form, a way of engaging someone. While in low context culture, communication is seen as a way of exchanging information, ideas, and opinions. And the last type of behavior present in high context culture, disagreement is personalized. One is sensitive to conflict expressed in another's nonverbal communication. Conflict either must be solved before work can progress or must be avoided because it is personally threatening. While in low context culture, disagreement is depersonalized. One withdraws from conflict with another and gets on with the task. Focus is on rational solutions, not personal ones. One can be explicit about another's bothersome behavior. The third category is territoriality. In high context culture, space is communal. People stand close to each other, share the same space. While in low context culture, space is compartmentalized and privately owned. Privacy is important, so people are farther apart. The fourth category is temporality. There are three types of behavior which is generally present in high context culture and low context culture. The first behavior in high context culture, everything has its own time. Time is not easily scheduled. Needs of people may interfere with keeping to a set time. What is important is that activity gets done. While in low context culture, things are scheduled to be done at particular times, one thing at a time. What is important is that activity is done efficiently. Another type of behavior which is present in high context culture, change is slow. Things are rooted in the past, slow to change and stable. While in low context culture, change is fast. One can make change and see immediate results. Another type of behavior in high context culture, time is a process. It belongs to others and to nature. While in low context culture, time is a commodity to be spent or saved. One's time is one's own. And the last category is learning. How people learn. There are four types of behavior which is generally present in high context culture and low context culture. The first type of behavior in high context culture, knowledge is embedded in the situation. Things are connected, synthesized, and global. Multiple sources of information are used. Thinking is deductive, proceeds from general to specific. While in low context culture, reality is fragmented and compartmentalized. One source of information is used to develop knowledge. Thinking is inductive, proceeds from specific to general. Focus is on detail. The next type of behavior, which is present in high context culture, learning occurs by first observing others as they model or demonstrate and then practicing. While in low context culture, learning occurs by following explicit directions and explanations of others. In high context culture, groups are preferred for learning and problem solving, while in low context culture, an individual orientation is preferred for learning and problem solving. In high context culture, one type of behavior reflected on it. Accuracy is valued. How well something is learned is important. While in low context culture, speed is valued. How efficiently something is learned is important. Let's test now our understanding. Is Filipino corporate culture a high context or low context? Filipinos are high context. They are naturally hospitable and friendly. They enjoy interacting with other people. They are collectivist in nature and value harmonious relationships with everyone. They are fond of getting along with everyone they know. This is evident in workplace as well. Filipinos are exchanging personal stories with their colleagues at work, going out to lunch together, and even attending their children's birthday parties or any events. If somebody goes out of town for seminar, meetings, or work-related event, he or she will buy souvenir as pasalubong to his or her coworkers. Filipinos' way of welcoming their colleagues is by approaching and asking some personal questions and treating them as a friend by introducing them to common social cues and inviting them to opportunities outside of work. Now, you have an idea how the Filipino workplace culture differs from that of other nationalities. They are loyal, hardworking, and family oriented. But apart from these virtues, they are known worldwide to the language proficiency. Filipinos are known to be excellent English speakers that make them competent in dealing with foreigners who visit and do business with the country. That is the end of our discussion on high context versus low context culture. Remember this quotation by Beatrice Vincent. The people with whom you work reflect your own attitude. If you are suspicious and friendly and condescending, you will find these unlovely traits echoed all about you. But if you are on your best behavior, you will bring out the best in the persons with whom you are going to spend most of your working hours. Okay, thank you for watching. If you are new to this channel and enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that I will be motivated to do more videos. Click also the notification bell to be updated when the next video is available.